Hey guys, welcome to the ANZ Proleague Grand Finals here, brought to you by GameStar. I'm Zeph, with me is Death, and I am pumped, man! Grand Finals night, what more could we want?
Not a whole lot more, Zeph. This has been going on for a month now, and that month has absolutely flown by. We've had some great casts, some great matches, and some great results. You know, we were talking the other day just about how surprising some of the results were from some of the teams, and I think that no one's going to disagree when I say we've got the two best teams in the tournament in this grand final. So I'm really pumped to see that SYF versus Legacy Esports tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be really sick. Both teams have been putting a lot of effort into preparing for this match, and since the maps have been announced, had a bit of a look, and I'm not sure who to call it for. I think we will be going to an ace match. There's some killer matchups here. Catalyst, Pigjunior versus MightyKiwi. TVZ to kick things off. MightyKiwi has been looking good, as always has been all year, so I think he'll maybe take that one. But Pigjunior has definitely surprised me in this tournament and shown just how strong he is, so I can't count him out at all. And then on Odyssey, we've got Probe vs. Hut, which are two of the titans in the region, really. Probe kind of needs no introduction at this point. And Hut is a veteran who's come back and is now in the best form of his life, in my opinion. So I don't know who to pick for that one.
It's really hard. Like, I mean, you say that we might be going to an ace match. I think that conventional logic would probably state that SYF win tonight 3-1.
3-1. Okay.
But and I say that like with, I mean, there's more to it. It's like there's a great big but there, and it's that Legacy really only need one upset, because I feel like on paper, MightyKiwi's favored in this first match. We'll talk about that more in just a sec. Probe's definitely favored against Hut. Seath is going to be favored against Azure, and Crimson would be favored against Peppy. So 3 SYF players favored against their Legacy opponents. So if they can just nail down those victories, they win at 3-1. But if Legacy have something lined out there and they can pull off just one upset in one of those 3 games, and Probe can beat Hut, which he most likely will, then we go to an ace match where anything could happen. And that's where Legacy could get their win tonight.
Yeah, I think that is a very good point. I do think SYF have had the stronger roster throughout this tournament, and looking back on their matches throughout the weeks, they've won mostly with 3-1s, 3-0, 3-2, you know, like they definitely have been quite convincing in their wins. But that said, though, like Probe for Legacy is obviously a big one. They definitely need him to win. But something like Azure versus Seether, I could see going either way, because the Terrans in our region, I think, do trade games fairly well. But
I got some interesting stats about that matchup we'll get to later, and you've got to promise not to laugh.
Alright.
But let's quickly talk about Pigjunior versus MightyKiwi before we get into the game. Pigjunior, it's kind of hard to give a prediction because he's gotten so good in such a short amount of time, and he's kind of this untested player almost. But he's Grandmaster. He's put on a fantastic show, and he's honestly improved tenfold since I was watching him play or playing against him on the ladder myself like 6 months ago. He's just improved so dramatically as a player. And Legacy do a really good job of preparing their players, and I feel like the management there probably invests more time and resources into that preparation, and that's why I think that they might be able to get one of these upsets. But if we talk about form, Pigjunior only has something like 3 games in recent memory, and that's in like the last 6 months that he's played TVZs in a tournament format, and he's won every single time. But it's only 3 games. It's a sample size that you can't really draw much of a conclusion from. So I feel like he's in with a chance against MightyKiwi, but it's an outside chance. I would expect MightyKiwi to take this one.
Yeah, I think it will be a little tough for him, but I mean, we saw some spectacular games from him previously. The one against Yours really stood out as well, fighting back from a rough position. So yeah, I don't know, man. Let's see what these guys have to offer. It's going to be Catalyst. The countdown has started, and we'll be hopping in shortly for our first match of the night. the grand finals. Guys, get on Twitter and please let your friends know that this is happening. I'm slacking on the tweets myself, so please make up for my failure.
The tweet game is not strong with this one.
It is not. I think I've become a serial retweeter.
Yeah, I'm a lazy boy as well. I definitely did click that retweet button a couple of times, but I'm slack as well. But anyways, I am so pumped to get this underway, Zeph. The loading bars are almost there. And I suppose one thing we should also mention is we are on a new patch, but I don't think it's going to play much into this game. But without further ado, let's go and introduce our players, starting with down here in the bottom right-hand corner, playing for Team Legacy Esports. This is Pigjunior.
And his opponent in the top left in the teal color, representing SYF, this is MightyKiwi.
I went and did a little bit of searching just to see if these guys had played much before in tournaments, because I feel like they would have played a lot on ladder, probably dozens of games, knowing how much these guys train and prepare. But they've only faced in a tournament format once before, and that was more than 6 months ago now. And MightyKiwi just got the 2-0 win. But like I was saying before, like sample sizes and considering Pigjunior's form and how much he's improved, I mean, that information is kind of junk. Like, we can't really draw much of a conclusion from it.
No, it's not. He has been kind of a quiet guy on the scene. Like, if you were to look at his illegal act page, for example, it'll be like a fairly level line and then it just shoots up. Because that's kind of when he just, like, put his foot on the gas. It just took off. Started competing, started taking some names, so...
It's when he got a relatively high IQ.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this guy progresses into 2018, and it's also a little more fun to have a bit of mystery coming into these games with these players, rather than sort of having a perfect idea each time of how they're going to play.
Now, this is interesting already, because MightyKiwi, he starts off with pool first, so he's already got his 6 Zerglings on the way, and they'll be charging across the map. This will really just be to try and delay or even maybe force a cancel on this base, while Pigjunior, he's going straight into the 2-1-1. He's got his Reaper out, so if he keeps this back at home, and it looks like he will, he should be fine. I don't think he'll take too much damage. And that's going to be a really good start for him. But if MightyKiwi micros well, he might be able to still delay that command center. But good move so far from Pigjunior. He's just going to dance around a little bit and buy himself some time. Some SCVs being pulled off the line as well. And this will be a pretty easy defense by Pigjunior.
Yeah, and there we go. He cleans that up. 2 Lings left over to park themselves out the front if they wish. Looks like they will escape the Reaper for the moment. So we can come in and get some more scouting later, but of course it's going to be important to see that 2-1-1. Now he is going for the Overlord speed option here, so it shouldn't be a problem for him to slip in there momentarily and just confirm what Pigjunior is going to go for.
Yeah, I like the choice, and I do like Overlord speed just in general. Allows the Zerg player to get a lot of information and keep on his toes. So that you don't get caught by surprise against, Banshees and these 2-1-1 timings and things like that. The one concern I have, though, for MightyKiwi is that Overlord speed won't be finishing up very soon. So it's still got maybe 10, 20 seconds. And by that point, Pigjunior's already going to have, like, the starport just about finishing. And then MightyKiwi's got to scramble because he'll only have about a minute, maybe a minute and a half to really defend and get his... maybe Roach Warren up or some Banelings or just build a lot of Speedlings. He won't have that much time to really react here. Now he has got that scout, and now we'll have to see how does he defend it.
With that Ling there, you saw the timing on the starport, and starport's usually an indicator of okay, stuff will probably come soon because the medevac will be popping out. He's starting to get that creep spread out there on the map as well. He is at about full saturation on both those bases. So we see him pumping out some Lings at this point. He's got a lot of Queens on the field already, and that's going to really help if he can make those targets down the medevacs. So hopefully he'll be well prepared to defend this attack. I mean, I think he's seen it with a reasonable enough amount of time. He's already going to Evos and extra gas, so he knows where he needs to be from here.
Yeah, I do love the fact that he's still adding on more queens, another couple in production. He's got 3 out the front here. Not a whole lot of energy because he has been investing into those creep tumors. And now we'll have to see, where does Pigjunior go with this? It looks like he will be trying to pressure the third base. He'll need to micro this very well. MightyKiwi is excellent with his queen control, so I'd expect they would want to be target firing down the medivacs at any opportunity. So if Pigjunior gets too far forward with his medivacs, this could be over very quickly for this attack at the very least. It's a lot of lings now, Zeph, and some Reaper grenades might be coming down as well, and a big one does connect. Beautiful stuff to start things off there.
Yeah, that was a great grenade. And he does see all these queens and kind of goes like, ugh, yeah, that's not optimal. Pulls back for a moment. We'll see if he keeps pressuring or just tries to be a little bit annoying. He's getting an overload for his troubles at the very least. And behind this, he's adding on 3 more racks. He's getting combat shields and +1. So there's another timing lined up there for him once he's done here. He's continuing to pressure on the front lines. His Lynx come in, try and get us around on these Marines. And Pigjunior does pick up and get out of there.
Yeah, it was a decent amount of damage, and the good thing for Pigjunior here is that he doesn't have an economic disadvantage. He's got his mules, 40 workers against the 42 drones from MightyKiwi. So he's forced out a lot of units, a lot of lings. He might even be able to pick up a queen or 2 here, but it looks like MightyKiwi... No, he does actually get a queen. That's nice. And Pigjunior, he loves his 2 base, and it looks like that's exactly what he wants to commit to. He doesn't want to go to late game against a Zoe player of this caliber.
And MightyKiwi knows it too. He's been keeping tabs on the third base and the sort of more northward base just in case he were to take that one instead. So he knows that there's no third CC out here. He can't really get into the base for a scout at the moment because Pigjunior's had Marines lined up around the edge of that main for a while. But now he has pulled those back. He's going to head over across the map with 2 more medevacs worth of units. And Pigjunior is pumping non-stop units at the moment, getting the hydrogen and Bane speed as well.
Pigjunior does need to be careful. A couple of decent Baneling shots there, and it's all going to be over for his attack. The Hydra Den coming down now that the lair is done, so Hydra Bane will be the tech of choice as MightyKiwi progresses in this game. Tanks are in production as well, so he might be able to get some decent shots there. But he's not focus firing, Zeph, but MightyKiwi turns around. He doesn't have Baneling speed. And now Pigjunior is up in supply. His army supply is 68 to 42. That's a sizable lead.
Small supply block here for Pigjunior as he pushes forward, clears the creep to give himself a bit more breathing room. Nice pre-split here, and he's continuing to rally some more units across the map. Starting to do some damage here at the third. Baneling speed still not done, so he's able to capitalize on this moment moving forward. Once again with the stim on the front lines, being very respectful of these Banelings. They are pushing through. The creep is helping out here. But nice micro from Pigjunior, yet it's just a little bit too much in that medevac. And back there barely survives.
Damn. Well, Pigjunior still has a pretty nice army. The tanks will be coming up. The longer that MightyKiwi can defend, his economic lead with the third base will become apparent. There's no gas at that third, though, and MightyKiwi does need a lot of gas to be able to afford all of these Banes, the upgrades, the Hydras, everything like that. But it looks like Pigjunior is just going all in. He wants to end this on 2 base. I don't think he even plans to transition at all. No more upgrades have been started for these bio units. So I think we're going to be seeing this game conclude in the next couple of minutes here, Zeph, one way or the other. And here we go as Pigjunior comes in and immediately has to retreat as MightyKiwi presses forward with those Banelings, trying to get a decent surround, and he does. Everything falls, and MightyKiwi takes the first game for SYF.
GG. Well played there by MightyKiwi. Very nicely held. Great scouting as well. 2 base not really working out there for Pigjunior, so our friends at SYF do get a point on the board.
Credit to Pigjunior, though. I mean, he made MightyKiwi sweat for that one, and maybe just a little bit better micro. He could have taken that game, Zeph, so... You know, both teams can be pretty comfortable in their performances there. I think it went the way that we would have predicted. But that was a little too close for comfort for MightyKiwi.
Yeah, it's always a little scary when you're trying to defend against a whole bunch of Terran units coming off a 2 base, and you don't have Baneling speed yet. He's sitting on the edge of your creep. It makes it quite difficult to defend, but like you mentioned earlier on in the game, his queen control's pretty good. That helps a lot with targeting down those medevacs and getting them out of the way. So, yeah, well played by MightyKiwi. And that leaves us to slide on into the next map, which is going to be Odyssey for Probe vs. Hut.
Oh, I can't wait for that next map. I feel like Probe is definitely going to be favored on paper, but Hut would have been training very hard. He's also just had the privilege of playing at the Probe LAN that was held over the weekend. It was a fantastic tournament. A bit of a surprise as Igers actually took that LAN out.
Who?
As Zerg. Like, what happened there? I'm not 100% sure. I'm still recovering from shock. But Hut played quite well in that tournament, but he was struggling against Protoss. He was really struggling, lost to frustration. So he's only had really a day back to prepare, and we'll have to see what happens there.
Well, guys, we'll take a quick break, get that lobby set up. Don't go away. Probe vs. Hut coming up next. We'll be back soon.